Welcome to Home Farm. It's early October and today we're going to start planting garlic. The initial plan was to use a portion of this field to dig out a 9 by 9 meter square where we were going to plant the garlic, but I've decided to scale that down a little bit so that we can experiment and then go on a larger scale the following year. So after a bit of research I realized that this field, because of its slope, might not be ideal when the rains come, because it might start to wash away some of the top layer of soil. So I've decided to get some pallets from our local hardware store, which I picked up for free, and I am going to be making raised beds out of those pallets, which will be the first portion of this exercise. Once we have got the pallets done as raised beds, we'll come through to this portion of the field, drop them in so that they're nice and level, top them up with soil, and then plant the garlic. So it's probably going to take a couple of days worth of work to get this done, but it should be quite exciting. We have already tested the soil earlier on this year. It's very, very alkaline, which is optimal for growing garlic. So we don't actually have to do too much to the soil and sand, but the big work is going to be A, get the pallets done as raised beds, and B, removing the grass and actually exposing it, because garlic doesn't like grass and weeds growing in between it. So yeah, it's going to take a couple of days, but it should be good fun. Earlier this week I jetted down to the local hardware store. They've got a stack of pallets that they get deliveries on, anything from bricks to tiles. So these are quite heavy duty pallets. Not all of them are going to be used for the raised beds. I bought some for some other projects that we'll get into later. This one here is optimal for raised beds, so I'll show you how we get around to doing those in a minute. I'm going to pull it out, but it's just a really good resource to be able to go down to your hardware store. It's a hassle for them to get rid of these pallets. In fact, I was told that if they don't shift them within a couple of weeks, they just take them out back and actually burn them. So what a waste, because it is just such a great exercise to reclaim some wood and put it to good use. So next step, we're going to start constructing our raised beds. As we can see from the design of the pallet, the base here will be sealed. We'll be using the wood from the top to seal the bottom. That then creates a sealed base, which creates your raised bed. We will then dig that down into the ground and we'll have a really good makeshift raised bed, which has cost us nothing. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take a crowbar and I'm going to lift these top pieces of wood out, which I will then use to create my base. So there you go, we have removed the top slats, and that has now created the base of our raised bed. We'll now turn it upside down and construct the bottom bit. We also don't need this middle piece, so I'm going to cut it out. Taking it out with the crowbar is just putting a lot of pressure on it, so I'm just going to cut it with a saw, which will be just as effective. So now we get a really good picture of what our frame is going to look like. We're now going to seal the base like we said. I'm going to take wood offcuts and I'm just going to seal it up really nicely. Like I said, it's going to be rough and ready, but it is going to be largely dug into the ground anyway. Just that hunkers it down and creates a nice level platform for the garlic. So yeah, next step, we're going to start sawing some little pieces of wood and start attaching it to the sides. So there we go, it's all done. It is supposed to look rough and ready. I'm not too concerned about that gap at the top because all I want to do is prevent water from running through the bottom. That water level is not going to get to that gap at the top even with high rains. So I'm quite pleased with that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it down to the field. I'm also going to take the lawnmower and the strimmer. We're going to prepare a space for it. And from that point we'll then start to dig into the ground, get a nice level platform, and we'll see what that looks like. And if that's a success, then we'll move on to raised bed number 2, and so we'll move down the field. So this is the portion of the field that I'm going to try and get these raised beds in for the garlic. The grass is really high. If you take a look at it, I'm kind of almost down to my ankle in terms of height, so it is going to take a fair amount of cutting. I think I might just take a bigger area out and it will just maintain it, keep it all stripped back and prevent the grass from growing into the garlic and all the weeds. So after a little bit of deliberation, I've decided to actually come across a little bit from that portion. I think the grass is just too thick and too dense, and it's just going to be a real hassle just to keep it maintained. So as we come across towards the pathway, which is here, the grass does thin out. I think this will be a lot easier as a patch to maintain and keep clear of weeds and grass. So that's the 2 converted pallets in the ground as raised beds. There was quite a lot of hard work going through the grass with the pitchfork and the spade, but it's done. We have got a rotavator which I'm going to consider using next time for the next batch. So the next thing I'm going to now do is just dig a hole just to the side so we can extract some more soil, so we can really just make a nice raised elevated bed for the garlic. And I'll just fill it up with all the excess grass that we've pulled out and put in. We've also restored most of the earthworms because obviously they're going to be hugely beneficial. So I'm just done with my second hole. It's just beautiful soil, heavily alkaline, perfect for garlic, and I've used that to fill the second of the elevated beds. Very tiring work, pretty exhausting, but it's almost done. It's taken the better part of an afternoon to do these 2. So we're expecting rains tonight, so I'll just let this all settle, and then tomorrow afternoon I'll come out and plant the first of the garlic. Whew. So the raised beds for the garlic were finished yesterday. Today we're going to be planting the garlic. It's a fabulous morning. Not too cold really, but very foggy, very misty, really nice. I enjoy this kind of weather. So we're going to go put the garlic in now. We can see as we go down the path that the raised beds are there, they've fallen in. We had a bit of rain last night, so hopefully that would have settled the topsoil a little bit. And yeah, we're going to put some garlic in now. So here are the beds, they're looking good. I had a chat to some friends that have grown garlic in the past, and basically the advice they've given me is to plant the cloves 10 centimeters apart if you're going to be weeding manually, which I probably will be. Apparently if you want to be weeding using a hoe, then you have to give it 30 centimeters between the cloves. As I said, I'm going to do it manually, so we're just going to give them a separation of about 10 centimeters. Each of these pallets and raised beds is 60 centimeters by 1 meter wide. So I'm going to be drawing some rows just onto the actual soil itself, just to give myself a line to work from. It's 10 centimeters apart. So I should be able to get a fair amount of garlic into each of these today. I had done quite a lot of research online with regards to various garlics, and just incidentally I was down at our local garden shop, a garden centre, and they had some good deals I felt on these particular 3 varieties. So the first one is the Thermidrome French garlic, which I've never really had before. It does sound nice. The next one's Dario. This is quite a popular variety, so looking forward to that. Very strong, as it says on the packaging. And Germador is a very popular one. It's the purple skinned violet cloves, which are also very tasty, very nice. So I'm going to start with the Thermidrome. We're going to set about breaking up the cloves, getting all the individual pieces out. These are the ones that are going to go in the ground. we're going to see how many pieces we can get out of here. It should be a fair amount, I'm hoping. So we got 10 good sized pieces out with 3 little guys, and we're going to start by putting them in 3 centimeters deep. So I've definitely found that making the holes first is a lot easier than doing them one by one, because you kind of lose track and you don't get as many in. So that's the thermodrome in. This is the germador. We'll see how many cloves we get out of this one. We got 10 out of the previous piece, which was great. Again, that's a reasonable amount. We managed to get 12 out of this one. I'm going to redo these holes so I can get 5 in here. In this bed, we're just going to go solely with the Dario variety. This is the really strong one. I really like the flavor of this garlic. So we've got some bonus cloves in this one by the looks of things, so we'll see how many we can get out of here. We've got 4 just lying loosely in the bag. A lot of pieces here. We've got 16 to start with, so that's really great. We've got all of the garlic in. Planting it was super easy, good fun. Just tallying up the numbers very quickly. I think that's probably about 60 cloves that we've planted today. So those are the 2 raised beds that we planted out with garlic yesterday. This morning I made 1 more raised bed and I've put it in, and I'm going to plant it out with the remaining garlic, and that should take us to just under 100 total heads of garlic, hopefully by the time next summer comes around. So we're going to carry on with the germador. This is the violets coloured one. We'll be starting with those. I've still got 2 cloves from yesterday. We'll see how many more we get out of this batch, out of this one. That wasn't a great yield. We only got 10 heads out of that one, but they are quite large. So hopefully they'll be stronger. Let's get them in. So just for my first reference, the first 3 rows on this side of this crate was the germador, the mild flavored violet cloves. Those are gone in, and we're going to finish the last 3 rows on that side with the thermidor, the other French garlic, the white one. So we're going to get cracking with that one. So we only got 8 cloves out of that one. A bit disappointing. We've still got 2 small ones from yesterday, so we'll put these in the ground. That concludes this video. We'll continue to monitor the garlic over the next couple of months, and the next video will be of the garlic hopefully being harvested. See you then. Thanks for watching. You can also follow us on Twitter or check out our website at myhomefarm.co.uk. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button below, and if you have any suggestions for any other videos you would like to see, please leave a comment. We hope to see you on our next video.